Welcome back to Voice of Mushfiq, the channel where we explore business concepts, marketing strategies, and real corporate examples from around the world. In today's episode, I'm going to take you on a full journey through the different types of business ownership. Whether you are a student, an aspiring entrepreneur, or someone curious about how businesses are structured, this episode will give you a complete understanding of sole traders, partnerships, limited companies, the public sector, charities, KICs, and cooperatives. These concepts are essential because they shape the way organizations operate, grow, raise money, and contribute to the economy. So let's begin with the most common form of business ownership in the United Kingdom, the sole trader. A sole trader is the simplest and most popular form of business ownership in the UK and in many countries worldwide. It describes a business owned and controlled by one person, who makes every decision, keeps all the profits, and carries full responsibility for the business. There is no legal separation between the owner and the business. In other words, the business and the individual are one and the same. This structure is incredibly common because it is extremely easy to set up, cost-effective, and ideal for freelancers, local service providers, and early-stage entrepreneurs. Over 60% of private businesses in the UK operate as sole traders. These include an enormous variety of professions such as plumbers, hairdressers, tutors, Uber drivers, graphic designers, photographers, local cafe owners, and construction workers. When someone wants to start earning as self-employed, becoming a sole trader is often the first natural step. It requires minimal paperwork, just a simple registration with HMRC, and then the individual can immediately begin trading. A great example of someone who began as a sole trader and later grew into a global brand is Joe Wicks, widely known as the Body Coach. He started by providing fitness sessions in local parks, posting short workout videos on social media, and slowly built a loyal customer base. As his audience grew, so did his business, eventually expanding into books, apps, and online programs. His early days as a sole trader allowed him to experiment, fail, learn, and adapt, something that larger businesses often find difficult to do quickly. Similarly, James Dyson began his entrepreneurial journey as a sole trader, designing prototypes for vacuum cleaners. He spent years experimenting and improving his designs before eventually launching Dyson Limited. The flexibility offered by being a sole trader allowed him to focus fully on innovation without the pressures of shareholders or complex company structures. A sole trader must also submit a self-assessment tax return every year, declaring all profits and paying income tax and national insurance. Unlike limited companies that pay corporation tax, sole traders are taxed as individuals. This tax structure is simple but can become less beneficial once profits become high, which is another reason many entrepreneurs shift to limited companies later. Despite the risks, sole traders remain extremely popular because they offer total control, flexibility, and a close relationship with customers. For many small businesses and freelance professionals, this remains the ideal structure throughout their entire career. Moving from one-person ownership, partnerships emerge as the next form of business structure. A partnership involves two or more people who come together to run a business, share profits, share management responsibilities, and also share risks. Partnerships are particularly common in professional services where expertise and collaborative decision-making are essential. This includes law firms, accountants, dentists, doctors, architects, and consultancy businesses. There are several types of partnerships. The first is the ordinary partnership, which is the simplest. In this structure, partners share unlimited liability. This means if the business fails or faces legal issues, the partners may lose personal assets to cover the debts. For example, two chefs who start their own restaurant as an ordinary partnership may each be personally responsible for repaying business debts if things go wrong. Many small family-run construction companies, local dental practices, and traditional small firms operate under this structure. The second type is a limited partnership, commonly referred to as an LP. This structure includes at least one general partner with unlimited liability and at least one limited partner whose liability is restricted to the amount they invest. Limited partners typically act as investors and do not participate in daily business operations. This structure is often used in private equity and venture capital firms. For example, major global investment funds such as Blackstone Capital Partners or Sequoia Capital operate as limited partnerships. The general partners manage the investment activity, while limited partners contribute capital but are protected from significant financial loss beyond their investment. The third and most widely used modern structure is the limited liability partnership, or LLP. In this model, all partners enjoy limited liability, meaning their personal assets are protected, and they are only responsible for their own actions, not the mistakes of other partners. This is the preferred structure for large professional service organizations. Firms like PwC, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, Clifford Chance, and many others operate as LLPs. It gives them the flexibility of partnership-style management while still offering legal protection similar to limited companies. Partnerships are straightforward to form and allow pooling of skills, knowledge, and capital. For example, 2 doctors forming a GP practice or 3 accountants setting up a new financial services firm can combine their expertise and share the workload. However, partnerships can also face challenges, including disagreements, shared profits, and a lack of continuity if one partner leaves. Nevertheless, for many professional industries, partnerships remain the preferred and most successful structure. Limited companies represent a major shift in how businesses are structured because they introduce the idea of separate legal identity. A limited company is recognized by law as a separate entity from the people who own it. This means the company can own assets, enter contracts, employ staff, and borrow money in its own name. Most importantly, the owners, known as shareholders, enjoy limited liability. They only risk losing what they invested, not their personal belongings. Limited companies are divided into 2 main types: private limited companies, known as limited, and public limited companies, known as PLCs. Private limited companies have shares that are privately owned, often by founders, family members, or private investors. These shares cannot be sold to the public. Gymshark Limited is a great example. Ben Francis began the business from his bedroom in 2012, sewing gym clothing and using social media to build a brand. As the company grew, he kept control by remaining a private limited company. Eventually, Gymshark attracted investment from General Atlantic, but it still remains privately owned. Dyson Limited is another powerful example. James Dyson and his family maintain full control of the company, which is now valued in the billions. IKEA also operates as a private company, allowing it to grow globally while maintaining its independence. Public limited companies, on the other hand, can sell their shares to the public through the stock market. Famous examples include Tesco plc, BP plc, Barclays plc, and Rolls-Royce Holdings plc. These companies are owned by thousands or even millions of shareholders, ranging from individual investors to pension funds and large financial institutions. Because PLCs raise money from the public, they face strict rules regarding transparency, financial reporting, and corporate governance. One of the defining features of limited companies is the concept of incorporation, meaning the business exists as its own legal person. Tesco plc can own property, take loans, or make business decisions, but its shareholders are not personally responsible for its debts. This separation between the business and its owners makes limited companies highly attractive for entrepreneurs wanting reduced financial risk and greater opportunities for growth. Beyond private businesses, the UK economy also includes the public sector, charities, community interest companies, KICs, and cooperatives. These organizations are essential for supporting society, especially in areas where profit-driven companies may not operate effectively. The public sector includes organizations owned or controlled by the government, such as the NHS, state schools, the armed forces, the police, and local councils. These bodies provide essential services like healthcare, education, transportation, social care, and national security. Most are funded through taxation and employ millions of people across the country. Charities play a unique role by focusing on social causes rather than profit. They operate under strict regulations from the Charity Commission and are governed by trustees who ensure funds are used for public benefit. Examples include Oxfam, Macmillan Cancer Support, the British Red Cross, and the Trussell Trust. Each of these organizations supports vulnerable communities, delivers humanitarian aid, or improves public welfare. Community interest companies, or KICs, offer a hybrid model, acting like a business but with a strong social mission. They reinvest profits into the community and are regulated by the CIC regulator. Examples include the Big Lemon CIC in Brighton, which runs eco-friendly transport services, and Aspire Oxfordshire CIC, which helps vulnerable individuals return to work. Cooperatives are businesses owned and democratically controlled by their members. The cooperative group is the largest example in the UK, offering food retail, insurance, funeral services, and more. Other cooperatives include Divine Chocolate, partially owned by farmers in Ghana, and various student housing co-ops across the UK. If you enjoyed this episode and want more business and marketing content with real-world examples, make sure to subscribe to Voice of Mushfiq. Share this video with your classmate, students, or anyone interested in understanding how businesses operate in the real world. And don't forget to leave a comment with the next topic you want me to cover.